We're back with another episode of Only Sport. This week, Stephen May and Michael Hibberd. These boys used to play defence together. Their chemistry's elite. The banter's elite. But I must say, some of the stories shared on this podcast had me stumped. Some amazing stories, some really tough times they've both gone through and how they've fought out of them. And then some really interesting stories. Like, did you know Maisie's a pilot? He flies planes. Yeah, that's right. Anyway, that's enough from me. Let's dive into the podcast. You're going to absolutely love this one. We all love an impressive performance on the field. And now, thanks to our latest sponsor, Pilot, you can have an impressive performance in the bedroom too. Pilot provides Aussie men with the clinical tools to treat bedroom issues like erectile dysfunction and premature ejaculation. Not a fan of the doctor's office? Pilot is all online, so you can sort it out right now over the phone. And with free delivery Australia-wide, you can be back on your game in no time. Head to pilot.com.au today and get started. Play hard until the final whistle with Pilot. Aces, I know I always go on about the RIXXs, but I got huge news. We have all our styles and colours restocked on the website right now. It's been months. We ran out of stock, but we're back. Get online, grab some sunglasses at rixxeyewear.com.au right now and use our little discount code ACES if you want a 20% discount code on the house. Righto, let's get into the show. Boys, welcome to the Roland Media Studios. Happy New Year. What's been happening?
Back into training, mate. Feeling very sore, a bit jealous of the pig right now who's just been sitting on the couch. So,
what's it like having the great man, well, not having him there? You know, is it a bit weird?
Oh, mate, I was saying to him before, I said, I saw him before we came and I said, mate, it sucks without you there. Just because Melky's been in rehab and, you know, we've got a really young team and usually us two just hang out and, you know, talk smack.
Do you feel old?
Mate, yeah, I think, I'm sitting in there, there's like me, Gorney, Tommy McDonald, and I'm just kind of like, all these young guys telling jokes and showing TikToks and stuff, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm definitely old now. Like,
what is it like? What's the one thing when they're carrying on all the younger guys, which we all were one day, like what is one thing that you're outdated with? Is it TikTok? Or
I think it's TikTok, yeah. You just got TikTok, didn't you?
Well, yeah.
I still don't have TikTok.
I hate to admit it, but I did. Purely because I go on Insta and I don't really go on up for anything apart from those reels now and have a giggle at them. And I'm like, my mates keep going, this TikTok's awesome for that. So now I don't have any followers.
TikTok's awesome for that.
So yeah, I do have TikTok, but
follow him, probably Piggy Hibberd.
I think it's Hibbo1414 for everyone out there.
Have you uploaded a TikTok yet?
No, I never will.
One of those creepy blokes with the no user kind of display picture.
Commented, gorgeous.
Yeah.
No, that was the one thing, especially in my last year with the young boys. They're doing the dances sometimes.
Yeah.
And I just didn't get it. Like, so are we getting old? But I'm sure Maisie's got another couple more years of copping that, and I'm probably glad I'm out, to be honest.
What about the rig, Hibbo? Like, have you been? There's like the weight that the 1 year you come out, they've got rid of the weight thing, which you know, I'm sure you would. What's your thoughts on that as well?
Well, yeah, I'm wearing a shirt to bed to the beach, and it's not getting much tan at the moment. I will. You don't follow the scales I've found is when you retire because I'm not going to the gym as much. So I'm not putting muscle weight on, but I'm not losing weight. I'm not gaining weight. I'm pretty much staying the same weight, but it's getting pretty hard to look at. So I'm committing. I didn't have a New Year's resolution, but I'm starting to try to get in the gym. I'm started running. I went for a jog today. It was pretty painful. So hopefully it can start falling off me. I know it's probably a long shot, but I'll try anyway.
That's great. So you've just indulged, like since finishing, you know, we're going to do a one-on-one podcast. Tommy talks later, but while we've got the great man, like have you just let yourself go? Like, you know, haven't trained, haven't touched a weight, haven't even gone for a trot?
I went for a couple early and then, you know, I've had a good couple of months where I haven't done a lot of training. Went to the gym a little bit here and there just to burn enough calories to, you know, fit the pots in on the weekend, to be honest. But yeah, I'll start chipping away at it now, and hopefully the weight falls off me. But I didn't have a great diet when I was training every day.
And you didn't do. I'm shocked because you didn't do gym.
No, that
but
too.
now you're doing gym.
You have to, man. You kind of you actually realise you need to feel good as well. Yeah. You got to sweat. But when you're playing footy, you just do it. You don't even think about it.
Yeah, you get forced.
Yeah.
I didn't look like much of a footballer when I was playing. So imagine how I'm going to go in a couple more months.
Are you going to put the boots on again?
I think I will at some point. I haven't signed anywhere yet.
Oh, hang on. He hasn't signed. I got me mate Matty Vanello from Greenvale. He's been going at me, hey, Bonners, if you need someone, Hibbo's right here. The amount of blokes that hit you up about, hey, mate, can you forward this guy's number? It's crazy. The local footy leagues, they're all after someone. So, mate, you just let them know. Maybe do you want to? Where should they hit you up? You obviously don't want the number out there.
I don't want anyone else to hit me up. I've had about 70 clubs ring me, and I'll tell them the same thing. I'll make a call in Feb or something, and we'll see. It'll probably be closer to home now. I think about.
Give us some feedback on that, like in terms of what are you going to make a call on? Is it the club's culture? Is it the winning? Is it the cash? Be honest with us. Like, there's clearly, I reckon there's a bit of everything. But what's the one thing that you kind of, is going to help you?
Skinfolds policy.
Yeah, well, I think right now, as much as I miss the boys and training every day with them, I don't think I'm missing footy as much as I thought I would. And right now, I'm not too motivated to jump out and play anywhere. So I think at some point I'll probably get itchy feet, but I'm not going to jump in and make a decision now to play anywhere if I don't think I'm that keen on playing right now. I know at some point I will, and that'll probably come in. Once the games start, I'll just go, all right, I'll play somewhere and sign somewhere, and I think it probably will be closer to home and somewhere that's easy to go to and have a kick and probably. Hopefully know a few of my mates or whatever that is. But right now, it's probably the last thing on my mind. Well, it is the last thing on my mind. I've got 2 kids I'm trying to hang out with every day, and they're causing me grief and driving me mad. But I'm loving every minute of that.
Oh, that's brilliant. Nah, very good. Well, yep, ease up on the great man if you are looking for him, Bonners. Let's dive in. Only sport. We had Benny Graham on last episode. He was fantastic, talking about Tom Brady costing his career, and it was actually. I actually Googled Benny and went on like YouTube because he said there's a lot of things on YouTube, and it's just crazy when you sit there and watch, a guy that we're in fantasy with, mates with, just what he's done. And I mean, even you guys as well, we'll get to in a sec, but yeah, it was great. It was, it's awesome to talk about things and then kind of go see the real footage. But let's start. We'll talk about on the field with you guys growing up. What drew you to sport? Like, who was it that kind of got you involved, and what sports were you playing? How old were you when you did start playing?
Yeah, I think my mum took me down to Auskick when I was about 5 or 6. From memory, I didn't really like it too much because there was no games. It was just training, which, funnily enough, still don't like training and I like games. So, and then, I couldn't get enough of any sport at school. I loved PE. I couldn't wait for that period, and be asking the teacher in primary school, if we behave, can we play, softball or something? Can we do something? Like, I just loved being outside. And when I started playing organised sport, I played footy and rugby were my main 2 sports. In Darwin, they run, half of the year each. And then I played rugby and soccer in one of the years. And then I played footy and whatever else I could go fishing and stuff. So I just loved being outside and being around my mates and competing. So it was really like a no-brainer for me. I didn't really think of anything else. Like, I'd be in school, probably regretted that early, thinking I'm not going to be in here. I want to go and play sport. I don't want to do this. But as you get older, you realise it's pretty important. So had a bit of a tough, bridging the gap in trying to get my education up once I got to high school. So yeah, I was just always sport mad. That's
great. What about you, Hibbo?
Yeah, for me, I had older brothers. Jeff was 4 years older than me, and like just a competitive household. My old man played a lot of footy. He was a pretty decent footy player down the peninsula, and just ask him. He used to tell us how good he was. But for me, it was pretty much whatever my brother wanted to do. I wanted to, and it was just mad in the house. Always sport, cricket, big in golf actually, but footy was the one thing. I had mates that were. I was young for my year level at school, so all my mates were always like 9 months to a year older than me, and they were playing when they were 6 or 7. And I remember playing under 10s when I was like 5. So I was playing with my brother and his mates when I was 5, and they were under 10s because there was no 7s or 8s or 9s back then. Yeah. And I think I was a bit timid early, but it probably toughened me up a little bit, having older brothers and playing so young. But I just loved it. I loved the competing, and I still do. I think the one thing about being retired now is the competitive side of not only game day but training and even ping pong in the locker rooms and the cricket and all that stuff. Like it's just something that's probably ingrained in me from my old man and my brothers that I loved about football and gravitated to it really, really quickly and early. And I guess what helped as well, I was pretty good at it from a young junior. I think I always used to say, like, I don't know why, Matt keeps playing. He sits in the back pocket. He hasn't had a touch all year. And
Matt's catching strays over there.
I look back now. I really respect that, but it's like that. That's like golf for me. I'm not the best golfer. You play with scratch golfers, but I just keep coming back because the passion you have for a sport, and I always had that with footy. I dipped my toe into cricket. I wasn't very good, but I always made the Melbourne 11 for a leg spinner.
The only spinner in the team, so we needed a spinner.
Yeah, but I love golf now. Try to get out as much as I can, but footy was always number one, and just that competitive nature that it brings.
Yeah, well said. Back to you, Maisie, with rugby. Like, was that something that you were really good at as well? Like, knowing your attributes on the footy field, like, were you ever thinking, oh, maybe I'll focus more on rugby than footy?
Mate, to be honest, I was a lot better at rugby. Like, I think at the young age, I was a lot bigger than everyone already. So it wasn't sort of as technical. They'd give it to me and I'd just run and like stiff arm them. They'd put the ball on the ground.
Still does that.
And then because of my footy background, they'd kick the ball up a lot, in the end zone, and I'd just jump. Everyone takes chest marks in rugby, and I'd just take it out in front and. I didn't find it that hard. Yeah. In footy, I'm doing it and I've got someone punching me in the back of the head. I was a forward. So I just found it, and then I'd play like representative, and I liked it. I did like it, but a lot of my really good mates were playing footy, AFL. So that was kind of where my passion was. And I was lucky I didn't have to pick one or the other while I was in Darwin, because the season would finish, then rugby season would start. And I would finish, footy season would start. So I really enjoyed it. I still love watching rugby when I can, and but I think being from Darwin, a lot of trailblazers from Darwin, Michael Long, Michael McLean, like Andrew McLeod, all these guys were doing good things in the AFL, and in Darwin, AFL was massive. So that was something I really wanted to aspire to, and represent sort of Darwin and make it. So. But I do love rugby. I still love playing rugby. Like, we play touch rugby sometimes at training. Does my head in that guys don't know how to play, and but that's just I'm too competitive with that sort of thing. But even when I went down to Melbourne Grammar, I played touch rugby in the spring with athletics and stuff. So I tried to play it when I could, but when I came down south, I couldn't. Rugby was running the same time as footy, so just sort of got the flick in the end.
Who's your favourite player to watch now? Like, we've obviously got a few in our fantasy group, but who's someone that you you follow? Like, was there a team that you follow?
Funnily enough, I went for Melbourne Storm when I was back in Darwin, but I was a mad Greg Inglis fan, and then I went down to the Suns. So I started going watching the Titans. Team kept rolling over a fair bit, so it was hard to get a favourite player. And then I came down to Melbourne Demons, and we trained with the Storm. So for me, I was like Cam Smith was still playing, Billy Slater was still playing. He lived up the road from me. I was like thrill starstruck, like these guys I watched playing State of Origin. Cam Munster's strutting around, and Christian Welsh. We've got all these guys, and you start talking to them. Addo Carr was there as well when I got there, and they're just blokes. They're just really good blokes. And all the footy boys, the Victorians, it's Storm, whatever. And I'm walking around going, there's this player, he's played. How many Origins he's played? They have no idea.
Yeah.
And you get to know them, and they're just real laid back lads. The rugby boys, as you know now, I've been in fantasy with them, so. I love Money. I love watching him play. He's just got that bit of arrogance, confidence about him, and he doesn't take himself too seriously. Pumps himself up and pots himself.
He's hilarious.
He's hilarious.
He is so funny and so talented.
So
he just makes me laugh every time I see him. And then you watch him live on TV, and he hardly smiles. He's just attention to detail. He's so good. And they all are. They all got different roles.
Yeah, he's massive, and he's been posting in the off season. Trying to do some leg weights. It's so funny, man, because he's about 100 kilos, I reckon, and he's 80 up here. He's got these little skinny legs, but he's been putting a lot of work in. I've been respecting it. But
I've seen
I keep sending him to him, going, "Nice, mate, looking good."
I've seen a couple of Money, the little quarter squats on those little heel raises.
Yeah, he's trying to work on his.
Doing all that kind of stuff.
Watch him playing big games, stiff arming blokes. These big props, massive guys, 120 kilos, and you just think, how does he do it with those little legs? But credit to you, Money. He's a star.
Just no good at fantasy though.
Nah, shocking.
came back late, the boys.
They did.
They just
Yeah.
finished
They
higher
did
than
come
both of
back.
us,
They
so-
did come back. I don't know who it was, but they got their team going. What about you blokes? What would you be doing, you reckon, if sport wasn't around? So I'll put my hand up. At school, I was horrific. I was exactly like you. Just couldn't wait to get in class and make people laugh, and then get out of class and go muck around. What do you think you'd be doing if it wasn't for sport? Like Dion Prestia went. He'd be fruit and wholesale and Footscray with the old man. And he genuinely was like, that was me. So where do you reckon you'd be if you didn't, I guess, if you were like Matt in the back pocket who couldn't get a kick in a street fight?
Well, Matt probably turned out to be quite a successful bloke, to be honest. He didn't push footy. I know that for a fact. But for me, I was the same as you. I was, and still do, like making me mates laugh, and I was like that in the class. And school wasn't for me. Like I didn't enjoy it. I liked, the friendship part of it and hanging out with people every day. I left, halfway through year 11. Started a trade as a plumber, and quickly found out that wasn't for me either.
Playing with shit.
Yeah, I was slapping tin roofs on for a couple of years, and then I was a forklift driver for a few years, and I got drafted out of there. And I remember I just missed out in the draft. Rookie draft come up, and I told my boss, "Nah, mate, I'm out." I hadn't even been rookie draft yet. Didn't have a lot of interest, and told him, "No, I'm packing my boots, I'm leaving." And I'm lucky I got picked up that draft because I didn't have a job on Monday. But I was always in that field. To answer your question about what I might be doing, I was always probably dipping towards sales. I remember looking up. I was working at a stainless steel company, but I remember thinking they've got a pretty cushy job up there. They have to speak to people on the phone and get paid quite well. I like talking to people. I probably would have pushed towards that. Thank God that didn't happen because I loved playing footy for as long as I did, and it's probably going to push me towards some more stuff that I want to do. But it's who knows? Like it's one of those things, sliding door moments when I got drafted, and then I had 13 years in the AFL and very grateful for the time I had. But I don't know. But I reckon if I was to guess, it probably would have been towards sales, or I probably could be driving the forklift with the high vis on. I'm not sure.
That's great. That's very good. What about you, Maisie?
Well, I'm assuming, like, if I wasn't on the PGA Tour, I'm assuming we're going away from sport. In Darwin, I had this guy I played footy with. He was an older guy, but I really looked up to him, and he was a sparky. And I just
Say his name, you'll love it.
No. His name's Danny Arujo. But he just had a really good. I just thought he had everything, because I was from Darwin, like not a great area, and he'd come to training, had a ute, but that was pretty cool, for everyone else, what everyone else was driving. And I sort of asked him, what do you do for work? He's a sparky, and I was just like, man, I want to be him. I want to play for the Crocs, like my local club, and be a sparky and drive that ute like him. That was pretty much. I would have been content with that.
Yeah.
But as I sort of got through, when I ended up going to Melbourne Grammar and then learning there's a lot different career paths and a lot of high-paying jobs than sort of what I was thinking at the time. I started sort of thinking, why not do something different? So I've been doing my pilot's license. I would like to be a pilot. So hopefully when I finish footy, I'll go into that. But that was probably something I wouldn't have had the access to do without getting drafted and having the money, because you got to pay as you go. And at the time in Darwin, I wouldn't have been able to afford flight school. So to answer your question, as a young guy, I wanted to be a sparky like Danny. And now playing footy and being able to, look into different avenues, I'd like to fly a plane. So, of course, if the PGA Tour knocks me back, I understand with the live golf going on, there's probably a bit of ruckus happening. So, but yeah, that's sort of me.
That's awesome. Lee Colbert, he's in that.
Yes.
So my mum used to work at Ansett Simulator Centre, so she used to book them all in, and I remember I think he might have been still playing when I was a little kid, and she's like, "Oh, we had a player come through today." So he's one that rings a bell. There's a couple others, but do you guys have a relationship, or do you talk about it?
I've actually got a contact through him, saying you can talk to him whenever and all that sort of thing. I've just sort of, my advice at the moment is just that I've received is just keep knocking out your commercial license, and then I've had a couple of things with Virgin up on the Gold Coast, going up flying their simulators and a bit of a relationship with them, but you can't really do much till you get your license. So I'm just chipping away at that at the moment. It's hard, especially coming to Melbourne. The weather, I'll have a Tuesday Arvo to fly and the weather's just fine, and then it sucks on a Tuesday Arvo, so I can't fly. Next week comes along, we play on a Friday night, so our schedule changes. I can't fly Tuesday, and then, it just gets a bit difficult. But, I'll look to punch out a fair few hours this year.
That's something I didn't know. That's really cool. I mean, that's something that's very scary as well. Would you jump straight in with the great man?
He's already said he won't come in.
He's got, you'd be able to correct me, what license you got where you can fly someone with you? And he's
recreational license.
Yeah, recreational license. And he goes, we'll go play King Island. He goes, I'll fly us over. I said, be stuffed, you're flying me over.
Jokes on him.
On a fly with you, mate. I don't even want to get in the car with him, let alone a plane. But yeah, obviously he's qualified to do that. It's, maybe I'll flip a coin one day and we'll do it. But yeah, it is. It's pretty. It's a
crazy.
Sick job.
Is it? You learn how to drive a car, and when you start, it's very scary. Now it's autopilot. Like it's very dangerous. So how many hours have you done? Like, give us a little bit more on this, because
I'll just to go back to Pig's point. One would be using one set of clubs because the weight and balance would be out of the aircraft, right? If both of us were going to go to King Island, so we'll have to decide on that. But I can only fly one. Definitely only one passenger if he's coming. So, but these are a lot of the things you learn because you fly little Cessnas, right? They're very small. But I've done about 80 hours. You do 150 hours
on your own.
No, on my own about 20.
Right.
Yeah, but a lot of it's just with your instructor, and then you pretty much do your lesson with the instructor. Well done, pass, competent. Then you do that same lesson on your own the next week, kind of so you show the instructor you can do it. Then you go back to theory. So we're learning next, do the lesson with the instructor. Next week, do that same lesson without me. You can do whatever you want, really, because nobody knows what you're doing. But it's about preparing you for these scenarios. So, that's sort of where I'm at the moment. At the moment, I'm doing solo navs, which are pretty navigation. Sorry, so planning a flight around Victoria and then executing on my own. We don't get to use the iPads and all that with all the GPS. We have to do old school with the big map. You've got a massive map like this.
Yeah.
Trying to do these points, trying to check if you can see this mountain. You should be seeing it. This is the part where it gets scary. We should be seeing it, at 6:10. We should see this mountain on our left. It's getting towards 6:10. There's no mountain. Then you're starting to get worried. But it's amazing how much sort of landmarks don't really appear until actually when you're at the point, especially at the altitude you fly at. So that bit's a little bit scary because there's no one to look at. As I say, when you fly on your own, you don't look right because that's where your instructor is. Because once you look right and you realize he's not there, you start second guessing everything you're doing. But and then the other thing is landing or landing's fun, but it's the bit that gives you a bit of a thrill. And the other one that's in Moorabbin, I fly to Moorabbin Airport, it's very busy, is when the air traffic controller is asking me to spot traffic. There might be a plane flying, and you can't. He's asking you if you're sighted, and you're like, no, still looking. And you get nervous because the mid-air collision is the part you're talking about is dangerous. Everything else is pretty fine. Planes are really amazing aircrafts, and they're very safe, and if you know what you're doing. But if you run into someone in mid-air, there's no, you're done. All over. So that's probably where I get, the most bit of nerves, especially when they've asked you for the third time, have you seen this plane yet? And you're like, no, mate, I'm still looking.
Have you had any close encounters?
Nah, it's very safe. Like the air traffic controllers, their job is unbelievable. The way that they can navigate and separate all these aircrafts, different engines, different speeds, different wake turbulence coming out of the back of them, and they make sure it all sort of works. Mate, it's incredible. Like I sit at, Melbourne Airport, Tullamarine Airport, waiting for our flights to Thailand or wherever we're going, Ibiza or something. And I'm just watching all these jets take off, and I'm seeing these guys are doing, they got a lot of responsibility on their shoulders.
Yeah, you're right.
Hundreds of passengers, hundreds of millions of dollars in flights and planes and insurance and these big companies.
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. What about, just back on this, when you're landing, because I've been in a simulator center, obviously Mum was there, so it's like you're in a plane, obviously, and they let you fly it, or someone you're with flies it. It's pretty crazy. You can literally set it up to be anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
You say you get a bit of the feeling when you land it. What is it about that smooth landing? When you're in those small planes, they go pretty hard, don't they, when they land?
Well, yeah. Well, they shouldn't. You should be landing them smoothly. But the thing is, when you come down a bit too hard, this is the part I'm talking about. Where the nerves. It's embarrassing, right? So if there's a Jetstar sitting there, and there's a pilot who's probably been flying for 20 years, waiting for you to land so he can take off, and you're coming in, like coming down, trying to get towards the runway, equivalent to like hitting a shank and goal for,
Yeah.
you know, hitting off side of your boot in footy is called a bounce or a balloon. So you come in too hard and you hit the runway and you start flying again. And now you've got to get the plane down again before you run out of runway. Luckily, we're flying on long runways. But that's the equivalent of a shank someone. The guys, anyone that's watching is going, especially if your instructor's in there, all right, you can tell them, like, you both have your controls. You know, he's like, you know, you got this. And once you see his fingers coming up to the control, you can tell he doesn't really trust you. And I'm sort of going, mate, you're making me nervous by doing that. Put your hands, like, let me land it. So that's the sort of bit where you're a bit like, I just want to nail it. And you're sort of gliding above the runway, you slowly touch down, and if it's smooth, you're like, that was awesome. But you're bouncing and you're trying to recover it, and you're just like, you start getting like, your skin starts getting hot.
Oh, well, you
start sweating, you feel nervous.
You get sweaty, don't you?
Yes. So that's
I
the sort of
hate
stuff.
landing. Especially overseas. Those flying around Europe last year, there's a couple of dodgy air. There's a lot of bouncing going on, mate.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter how many times I fly, I still watch out the window of landing and takeoffs, like every time. Like, it's just a little bit of nerves there every time. I'm a pretty good flyer when I'm right up there, because I think if they conk out, at least we can glide somewhere.
Exactly.
I just pictured like one day we're going to roll into this. We're going to go probably Virgin. We're going to go in and we're going to be going on a big golf trip, and Maisie's going to pop his head out and go, sit down, boys, we're about to take off, and you'll be the pilot and we'll be fucking wigging out.
That'd be the dream. Although I'd probably have about 20 guys walk off the plane. So
yeah, no, that's good.
great.
Nah, well done, mate. I don't know many people are doing that. It's all the best and great insight. Great insight. Back to footy. Let's get back into our only sport questions here. What are some challenging moments you boys have been through in your career that maybe you haven't spoken about before, or you have, and how did you overcome them is probably the most important part of it. I'll start with you, Hibbo.
Probably for me was, or the Essendon drug saga was one that's well publicised. Went on for, I think I was in my second year when it kind of started happening, and went on for as long as I was at Essendon, which was 5 or 6 years. And then obviously I which was tough, in the media all the time. At times you felt very uncomfortable to even go out in public. Going to family events and stuff, because it was so publicised, and you were starting to question whether you'd done the right thing, the wrong thing. As players, I felt like we did everything we could. But there was that scrutiny that we were copping, and, you did stop going to birthdays or family events just to avoid the questions that we were getting all the time. So that was a pretty tough time in my footy career. Going to Melbourne was great for me. I knew I needed a fresh start. I started to lose, not passion, but a little bit of motivation, because, we used to call them crisis meetings when we were at Essendon. Like, you get to the club, all right, we're in there again. There's AFL PAs there, and we got a meeting where we're talking about what's going on again. We got up to about 170 of them, so maybe over-exaggerate a little bit there. But, when that was happening all the time, and then the cameras are at training a bit more, and it's not for the positive reasons, I lost a little bit of motivation, and just, you were just going and ticking a box when you went to training. And I know as an athlete, you can't do that. You need to strive, and you need to motivate yourself and do more than just ticking a box. You need to do extra recovery, extra weights, extra running, all that stuff. And that was starting to wear on me a little bit. And the move to Melbourne was a perfect thing for me at the time. I could go to a new group of coaches, new group of teammates, and improve my worth in that way. And it just gave me that fresh start I needed, and gave me the motivation again to prove people right or wrong, or whatever they thought about how I was going. A year off in Europe with the boys was a positive silver lining to the whole situation. But a year off, in what I thought was my prime, at 26, 27 is probably, you're hitting your straps around then, and that was heartbreaking at the time. But in hindsight, it was probably the best thing for me. I ended up having a pretty good year, in 2017 after the year off, and went on and won a flag, and had 13 years, and thought I had a pretty fruitful career, considering some of the setbacks and adversity I've had to face. Another one was probably my brother passing in 2020, which that was a tough time. My brother died, and I had my family. Obviously, we were mourning the loss of him, and you go pack up and you have to go over to Sydney and then Queensland for the hubs, and not having your family there around you, and for me to be around them, that was a really tough one as well. And we got through it in the end. It was a tough year, but the best thing about footy club when you're going through some tough times is you've got everyone around you. Like, especially when the Essendon thing happened, I was going through it with all my teammates, and that was a perfect thing for me. I like being around friends and family, and the hard thing with my brother not being around my family, but the footy club with my family, and I was able to work through those tough periods because I had a footy club behind me, and very grateful for that, and I'm glad I pushed through and finished the career the way the one that I had, and I'm pretty proud of the adversity that I was able to face, and now onto another lifetime of whatever it is coming. But I'm sure adversity will come and go, but I feel like I'm strong enough to be able to deal with it because of the experiences that I've had.
Nah, well said, mate. And sorry again to hear about that. And mate, it's inspiring. Obviously, being an Essendon man, followed you real closely younger, and obviously then started playing. But the family stuff, and then explaining what you've overcome. There's a lot of people out there. It's what I do love about these podcasts is they probably look up to you boys as athletes, and then they get to know you a little bit more as people. But explaining, all that hardship and all that adversity, and then kind of how you overcome it, it's brilliant. And no doubt someone out there will relate to that. And you had a great career. Not many people would have, well, not a lot have done what you've done, just winning a flag, but overcoming even that Asada, you kind of forget about it if you're not involved in it. But you boys certainly don't. And it's really well said. A footy club like Melbourne was probably another a great way to kind of get over it, just get a fresh start and thrive. So, well said. What about you, Maisie? Is there anything that you've gone through that's been tough, and kind of how did you overcome it, a bit like what Hibbo said?
Yeah, I think my first year at Melbourne, I was really excited for my fresh start, come from the Gold Coast, and I didn't really expect what happened. When I got here, I was touted as being like fat, unfit, all these things, even though like based off my running, what I was doing on the Gold Coast, I was right in where I'd normally be. But I guess they just had high standards or expectations of me being a high profile recruit. Never been a great runner, so the 2K is not a great way to judge me, but that's what they did. And in the preseason, you can't really play games on the weekend to win their trust or anything back from the media or your fans. So it's pretty hard. It's a long wait. You're busting your ass. And I took it pretty personally and tried to work really hard and get really fit, and I did. I knew I was pushing myself a bit too much at my age. I was about 26, 27, actually, like Pig said. And I had a bit of soreness and stuff going on, but it was like, I just need to push through this, get to the season and get to round one. Oh, sorry, we didn't get to round one. We got to the last NAB Cup game, and I got suspended for hip and shoulder. Very minor, but got missed the first week. So then I finally got my debut. I'm like, finally time to turn up and get the fans on my side and prove the media wrong, and I tear both my groins off the bone. Fully gone. I'm playing on Gary Rowan, mind you, at the time, in danger. They were swapping out of the goal square, and I couldn't move. And the coach goes, "You reckon you can just play deep?" I said, "Mate, I'm playing on Rowan in danger. I can't even play on them normally, and you want me to play on them with no groins?" Obviously, we both didn't know what injury I had. I was just sort of running weird, and had no power, and I just couldn't tell my brain, go, tell my body. It just wouldn't happen. And anyways, got scans. I was actually really relieved that there was something really bad because I felt like a bit of an idiot. Everyone's like, "You just paid all this money to get this guy here," and ran shit in the 2K and played shit in his first game. Yeah. And now he's injured. I was like, please be something wrong, because this would be really embarrassing. So anyways, 12-week, 13-week injury. Throughout that period, I was training, trying to get back. I was starting to go well. Me and my girlfriend broke up, and it was a pretty tough breakup. I went to the pub, had a few beers on my own, got photographed having a beer.
I remember that actually.
Yeah. Blew up. I was on all the news and stuff.
It's the first thing I realised when I moved to Melbourne, how big the media is,
It was a Sunday arvo.
Sunday
Couple
college
beers.
lawn.
So,
It's at Harlow.
Yeah, Harlow.
And
Great spot to have.
I didn't
one,
really.
mate.
yeah.
So I can go to the pub and probably get away with that, but Maisie couldn't. I was shocked. Like I was like, give the bloke.
Well, they just it's a good story, you know, like just what you just said. It just makes sense for the naysayers.
Yeah. It just was like, he doesn't take it. He doesn't appreciate his position. He's not taking the club seriously. All these things. I had no idea. Anyways, good he rang me. He's very angry. And I said, mate, calm down. I just had a couple of beers. My missus waiting to go to the airport. We'd just broken up. Like, I didn't want to be at home with her. Like, I've been gone out and had an all-nighter. Like, I'm coming to training tomorrow. Like, I was sort of like, what's the big deal? You're in rehab. You can't drink. I said, I know that, but I just had a breakup. He goes, no, you can't drink. That's the rules. I'm like, just hung up. Like, sorry, stuff this, you know. Like, I don't really care. Not a big deal. Didn't realise I was going to be in newspaper tomorrow and all the footy talk shows, and I just got absolutely dragged through the burner, mate. It was very tough, and I didn't know what to do. I had to stand up and apologise to my teammates, and I told them what happened. They were like, "What are you apologising for?" Like, you just they almost said, "Don't go to the pub next time." I didn't really have any friends yet because I wasn't playing games. I was injured.
Yeah,
and then it's hard to sort of relate and get to build those relationships because you're just away in your rehab. You're away from the team.
Mate, you're isolated.
You're in a different program. You don't even get to know the coaches, your teammates. Don't even really have any mates at the club yet. And they're like, mate, sorry you went for that. You should have come to my house and had a few beers. And I said, yeah, well, I didn't really know you. Wasn't going to just rock up at your house. So that was really tough. And I sought out some advice. You know, this is really hard. What have I done? I should have stayed on the Gold Coast. I've made a blunder here. On the Goldie, I could have had 10 beers at the pub and I would have been fine. So anyways, I got some good advice saying you just, you know, no one cares what you got to say. Just get fit again. And it sounded like, I was like, I just did that. You know, get fit again, show them how good you are. I'm telling you, they'll jump back on your side. And I was like, it's not going to happen. That's not going to work. These guys are ruthless down here, you know. Anyways, another big preseason. Got to my next year. It was 2020. We're in the hub. Way from Melbourne, thankfully. But probably had my best year. Runner up in the best and fairest. We just missed finals. And that year, like in the hub, probably helped build those relationships with my teammates because we had to. Build their trust. I was obviously playing good football. Coaches were back on me. Media was back on me. I was a great recruit and all this stuff, which was good to read after reading a lot of negative things. And then, it sort of propelled my career at Melbourne because even though when it was able to play good and then end up winning the flag, like made it almost sweet. And I don't wish that on anyone to go through that but the fact that it did happen, it was kind of like I had that medal and I was just like, oh, this is just everything I wanted and more, and even better, given that I wanted to go home and I was hating it down here. So now you play in front of 90,000 at the G, and the fans love you. It's a surreal feeling. Like just it takes a lot. The Melbourne any AFL fans actually doesn't take a lot for them to get off you, and it takes a lot of hard work to get them back on your side. So I'm glad for now they're back on my side. So
it's really well said, and I appreciate you sharing all the details because it gives context to it all. The main point for me, so we talk about how do you overcome them. Do you think when you spoke to someone, like I'm guessing that's your sports psych, is that your advice to young? Because I'm thinking if there's another Maisie coming through the ranks, whether it be at another club or whatever, what was the one thing that kind of helped you get back into gear? Was that psych?
Yeah, I was just thinking about my body and getting it fit, but you need to get your mind fit as well. Like you need to respect your brain. Brain can do some crazy things to you. So I spoke to our psych, which I never spoke to a psych before. So I didn't really think it was for me. So I ended up speaking to the psych. And then just a couple of people I really respected and trusted, like Dean Solomon, he's my ex-coach at the Suns. Very hard on me, but very honest. And, I sort of trust everything he says. So my advice would be seek help in terms of, maybe you want to talk to a psych or someone like that, but also talk to people you respect and someone that's going to be honest with you. And if they're going to, whatever they tell you, take it on board and actually do it. Don't go, man, I was coming to you for a cuddle and you've given me the hard truth. Don't take it that way. Obviously, a cuddle would be nice, but how you're going to get better is this is obviously what's going on. They're seeing it from a different perspective. So I appreciated the hard truth, and Simon Goodwin too. He was hard on me, and I couldn't believe it because he just recruited me, told me how much he wanted me on the team. I went, I'm coming to Melbourne. Hey, good, he's an awesome coach. And absolutely smashed me. And I was like, I thought you liked me. He did love me. He loves me. But he didn't like what I was doing, and he wanted me to be the player he thought he was recruiting, and he got it in the end. But by being hard and being honest. And he didn't just do that. He helped me through it. He didn't go, don't come back to my office until you're ready to play. He said, gave me the whack, then said, this is the plan. We're going to set out a plan and we're going to get this right and we're going to do it right and better next year. And we did. And to his credit, he did. So, yeah, it's just...
Sometimes with those blokes, like they can be your best mates and you go there for a soft ear sometimes and hope that they're going to have your back. But I reckon your true mates, especially when you're trying to be a professional athlete, get the best out of yourself, the ones that whack you between the eyes and are real honest with you and where you have a laugh, because we've come up with this saying over the years, don't get bitter, get better. And there's been times where, you know, Maisie will come to me and, this is bullshit, and I might do the same thing, and he'll be like, no, mate, don't get bitter, get better. Like, this is what's going on. Like, you know, you're running slow and you're fat. Like, this probably happened between me and him, but that's an example.
Nah, it's a good one. I like it.
And we use it for everything. Golf, we use it
don't
for
get bitter, get better.
whatever it is.
I might use it against you boys for a few things, but it's a really good one, isn't it? It really is.
And I've had mates like, you know, Joe Watson was we become really close, but he would tell me the home truths and stuff I need to hear. And Jake Melksham's my best mate. He's the same, Maisie. Like, we have these strong conversations with each other, but the people that are close to me that give me the honest feedback, especially over my footy career, you know, my wife's one now, but she gives me real strong feedback. But they're the people you respect more because they're your true friends. They're not the ones with the soft ear that telling you what you want to hear. They actually care about you enough to tell you the truth. And I feel like you got to surround yourself with people like that if you're actually going to be successful or get anywhere, because they're the ones you want to make proud. They're the ones you want to change for, and they're the ones that ultimately help you.
Yeah, well said. It's great advice. That was my next point. Give some advice. Well, that's it. And the cold shoulder. It's not what you want when you need to hear something. Let's flick the switch here. Boys, well done for sharing that. I love, as I said, these potties, they go anywhere. But I really appreciate you boys kind of getting into those stories and sharing that. It's not easy, and no doubt it'll make someone's day because someone will be able to relate to it and apply some stuff that you guys have gone through and might even reach out. Who knows? Let's go to some memorable moments on the footy field. I've always said you might have kind of spoken before and maybe, you've both won premierships, but is there a moment that's really memorable that some people might forget or that you don't, that's something that stands out? I'll start with you, Hibbo. What's a real memorable moment that you've got in your footy career where you might have done something pretty nice or a team win?
Obviously the easy one's to say in the grand final, and it was amazing and something I cherish now. I still look back at it every now and then when we have a few beers and we talk about it. And I think I had 7 touches that day. I did nothing, but everyone remembers me running off with the cup. And it's the first thing everyone says, and I'm like, I don't know why I did it in that moment. I had a rush of blood. I finally got my hands on it because everyone was passing it around. I just ran it and just did half a lap.
It's so funny.
I was like, what's he doing?
You'll find the footage somewhere. It's everywhere. But that's the one thing after I retired and, you get the best and fairest and everyone's giving you a pat on the back. 90% of the people going, I love what you did with the cup. It wasn't loving what I did that day because I did nothing. But, it was, that's a real memorable one for me. And I guess, my first goal at Melbourne, my first game was a really memorable one. Missing 18 months of footy and coming back, kicking a goal there on Anzac Eve was nice. But, definitely the run with the cup, and it's the one that, my family, the supporters, everyone's it's memorable for them as well. So that'd be me for sure. Have
you got it framed at home, like a big photo?
No, it's funny. My missus, for my birthday, she used to be a photographer, so she cut off all these old photos from my footy career, and it had the stats of thank you Hibbo, how many games I played, All Australian Premiership, and had a few comments nice comments people had said across, and the front cover of it is me with the cup like this. It's a sick photo. I'll send it to you.
Yeah, flick it across. That's great.
But that'd probably be me, and I barely let that thing go for about 3 days. I saw the boys. It was pretty hard to get it out of my hands. So, that's mine for sure. And wish I could all do it again, but they're behind me. Hopefully, Maisie can run the cup this year.
That's it. Oh, that's awesome. What about you, Maisie?
I feel like the premiership's the easy one to talk, but it's just it is like the most, like it was crazy, man. The emotions that we're going through, especially in our backline meetings after goals. Like Bonner just kicked his third. I think we're down by
19 points.
19 points, and it was they're going their way. So the roller coaster of emotions and I was like, we're going to lose this. We've come all the way here. We finally made it. And we're not going to stop. Like they're killing us. And then that turnaround and being able to witness like what those guys did out of the middle and kicking goals out of the center. You know, I was going off telling them just shut the game down. I said, boys, hey, we got back in the game. Let's get to 3/4 time. And they're like, yeah, all right, Maisie. And then sort of walked off. Bang, another centre bounce goal. All right, that's enough. All right. If I'm getting nervous, they're going to start running forward. Bulldogs are going to, and Bulldogs have great midfielders. So if they don't win it cleanly, they're coming back kicking another one over our head. So
And you had a bung hammy going, like not a bung one, but like there's a grey area on your hammy. Do you have grade 1 hammy?
it was a full tear. Yeah.
Full tear.
Yeah.
Is that public knowledge?
Yeah, it is now. Yeah. And so I was a little bit of like that, like keep it away from us because I couldn't run. I was playing with Aaron Norton, who's lightning.
Yeah, quick.
So I was nervous, but that next period of play when we were watching, we didn't really go near the ball, but it was like the most impressive bit of football I've ever seen live. And it was on our team and it was on grand final day. So you add all those things together. I was looking and going, we might do this, you know, get to 3/4 time, come out. Thought, you know, they're probably going to come at us again. We just piled them on. And I just couldn't believe what was happening. I was honestly gobsmacked to the point Chris Machuca comes down the back line sort of as an extra. And he sort of left his man. And I said, Track, man up. Like, get on it. What are you doing? And there's 3 minutes left. We're up by 70. And he goes, Maisie, chill out, bro. Like, we're going to win. And I was like, don't tell me what, like, you get on him. And Vines is very similar to me. Vines is like, Track, get on him. Like, and I'm like, thanks, Vines. Like, and Track's smiling, waving at the crowd. Like, he's got the Norm Smith pretty much. He knows he's got a, but he's like, that's his character. Whereas Vines and myself are a bit like, it's not over till that siren goes.
Intense,
we laugh about that story now. Like Jack was, remember when you were having a crack at me? And I was like, yeah, it wasn't funny at the time, mate. I was, but then just after that, like watching Pig get that, getting my medal. When I got my medal and I went back to the group because I was first number one, a lot like just staring at the medal. And I was just thinking about all that stuff that we spoke about before. And like it's happened finally, like sort of felt like it was worth it.
It's a movie, isn't it? When you like, especially on your own mind, you think about when on the forklift, like, you know what I mean? 1 minute on a forklift, next minute, you got the cup in your hand.
Yeah, and
that's literally what
I mentioned. But like my brother, who doesn't come to many games, is in Darwin. He's not the one I was talking about with Jeff, but he was in the pocket with a couple of my mates. So I've caught him out of the corner of my eye too. And then like I was like, wow, this is perfect. How good is this? And when what Maisie was saying before, when we just had front row seats to, you know, the midfield show, and we actually had a few minutes to go, oh, how good's this? Yeah. Like you're sitting there and the crowd are losing it. You don't get that in grannies. And like Maisie said, 4 minutes to go, he's still telling Track to man up because you don't believe it until it's about to happen. But we did have a few minutes as a backline group, which gives me chills now thinking about it, of just going, hey, hold on, we've got 3 minutes to soak this up on the field. We don't have to wait for the siren. We're going to enjoy it. And to the point where Christian Salem ran down the forward pocket and kicked the goal, and I'm thinking, why didn't I freaking do that? You know? I'm worried about keeping my bloke to zero touches and no goals, and I should have ran down and kicked the snag. But this is crazy memories, and the good thing is I can bask in it now and really think about it, whereas he's got to strap up and not get too carried away thinking about it because he can do it again. And well, that's a good thing about sport, I guess. Yeah,
well said. Yeah, you're right. How many times have you boys watched the replay?
I haven't.
Still haven't watched it.
Really?
No, I haven't watched it. No.
Will it be like are you going to save it for the 10-year reunion?
Well, yeah, maybe. I've come this far.
I've always been real jealous. No, I think it's jealous. Yeah, I am jealous.
I think I didn't.
It's not a bad thing,
well.
but I just would love to be
more than 7 touches. I
reckon I might have had maybe not even double digits. I reckon I had a 9. I don't know. And I was running around with one leg. So,
mate, I remember
it's hard watching yourself play.
Yeah.
On a good day, you're thinking, is that how I run? Is that how I look when I kick? And then I run around with one leg.
Unless you've had 30.
That jumper's tight.
Gee, that jumper's a bit tight.
Yeah, the jumper.
Probably like shrunk it again. Every week it got a bit tighter.
Oh, that's really good. Well done. Well, we're going to dive into the halftime segment, boys. That's a bit of there's plenty more questions there. We've dived into a few, and I love that. But yeah, that's very good. Thanks for sharing. It's bringing back some great memories. All right, it's halftime. It's our pilot halftime segment, our unforgettable flops. We've all had a few floppies in our time, and it's time for you boys to recount a moment, an embarrassing moment on the field where you might have had a flop. One thing, before we jump into it though, one thing we love about pilot, boys, I don't know about you, but you know when you're a bit crook or you need to go see a doctor, there's like nothing worse than having to go to the doctors, is there?
No, nothing worse, mate.
The lineup, all that drama, you almost go, I'll do it tomorrow. Well, that's the thing with pilot. You don't have to worry about that. You get your phone, you can book online, and if you need some help, well, they're there to help you. So Aces 20 at checkout. If you want to use our one-time discount code, head to pilot.com.au and they will look after you. And you'll be able to, if you may be struggling in the bedroom, you'll be able to play to the final whistle with our friends at Pilot. You'll be hard as a rock. Righto, let's get into it. Unforgettable flops. Let's think about a time on the field, maybe in life. I know Job got done around the Marby River. You were probably there when Swags caught him. Dion said he used to get the runs pre-game. You probably would play him full back at the time. He was in the dunnies while Gaz was trying to get a sub. We've had blokes flop on the field, literally, or they've made a mistake. What would your pilot flop, unforgettable flop be, Hibbo?
For me, I spoke about it a little bit before about how I missed a few drafts, finally helped my opportunity, and Essen rang me up to train. Friday morning, I trained with the boys doing the skills and all that, and trained quite well. And thinking the rookie draft's on Tuesday, I should be right. And I got the phone call that night saying, "Come down to the 10 and do the running." I thought, far out, I'm not a very good runner. As Maisie and doesn't matter how many years I was in the system, I still am not good. And at this point, I hadn't ran much over the off season. Is that Frankston VFL pre-season starts in like December, and they're asking me to run in November. I thought, wow, okay. I finally got down there, 8 o'clock at the 10 or 7 o'clock at the 10. You have the A's are the good runners, the B's are they're pretty bloody good as well, and it goes up to E. You're up with the C, run with the C's. David Zarakis, Jason Winlick, Jake Melksham. I'm like, I didn't want to say no because I was trying to prove a point, wanted to get drafted, wanted to make sure, put my best foot forward. We had 2 800s, 4 400s, and 8 200s or something like that. And after the 2 800s, I was 70 metres behind my group where, I was so far behind, it was embarrassing. And the late, great Bruce Reid was the coach, the doctor at the time. Heard he was the coach, and they're watching me. And Reedy just steps out in front of me. I hadn't even got to the 400s yet. And I was 60 metres, 70 metres behind on that second 800. I thought, how long is this next bit going to go for? Reedy just stands in front of me and just says, stop. And I said, no, mate, we're just going to keep going. And I got maybe another 50 metres, and I looked back at him and I just took him up on that offer. I walked back, you know what, this is pretty bad. So I had the tail between my legs, pretty bad, thinking I've blown the shot that I wanted to get drafted. And I ended up getting in the car, and the boys went to Kerford Road and did recovery. And one of them said, I think it might have even been Melky even, said, oh, mate, you did all right. And I said, you obviously weren't watching me. That was shocking. So I got through that. It was very embarrassing, and I ended up getting picked up on the Tuesday. But for about 4 days, I was just sitting looking at the ceiling in bed, going, I've blown my one shot here. And thank God for Reedy. May rest in peace. He saved me on that day, and he saved me through some other experiences in the life after that. But I lived to tell the tale. Ended up picking me up for whatever reason, and the rest is history. But,
that is great.
Very embarrassing. Very embarrassing.
The pilot unforgettable flop around the 10. So we've had the Marby River with Job, and now we've got the 10 with Hibbo. That would be stiff though, coming off the Frankston. What are Frankston called?
The Dolphins.
The Frankston Dolphins. Yeah. Into the off-season. No doubt the Frankston Dolphins would have a serious off-season if I reckon they'd have a crack, and then rolling into an AFL pre-season with Group C around the 10 and not making it halfway. It's kind of good that the doc pulled you out, because you would have been really labouring.
He said you were 10 metres away from doing a hammy, and I agreed with him. Everything was starting to hurt. So Thanks for that one, Rudy.
Oh, very good. What about you, Maisie? What's your pilot unforgettable flop?
One that's probably not obvious to the eye is my first lesson from Lance Franklin about you don't need to start talking smack to him to get him going, right? Like if he's having a bad day, you just let him have a bad day and you don't say anything about it. And he just got traded to Sydney. And I had I was really I had sleepless nights all the time I played on him. He just got to Sydney in big contract and it was like $10 million, $9 million, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And I've kept him to about 2 handballs and a kick at halftime. So I'm thinking I'm doing a good job. He comes out, he gets a little hand lead up on me early. And Nick Davis runs out, he was the runner at the time, and goes, "You got him, bud, you got him now." And I went, "You got me? Mate, you're getting paid $10 million, you had 2 handballs." And that I should never have done that, right? Because I'm thinking, how good am I going, playing on the best man in the comp, like arguably the best forward or player that we've seen, and I'm up and about. And anyways, we jogged back, he hasn't said a word. There's a stoppage outside 50 and I sort of let him go around the back of the stoppage. He's like, he's not kicking it from here. Wraps around, kicks it from about 55, 60, runs straight at me. So that's your fault. And if you want to be on TV, come and stand next to me. And he goes, and I said, "It was a good goal, mate. I'm not going to take that away from you." Now he's up and about. He's running around. He's done 10 high fives. He's going now, and I'm starting to get scared. Anyways, 5 minutes goes on. I'm like, get back on him, Maisie. Don't worry about that. We're in the zone from a kick in, so I'm not even on him. He's ended up getting out the back, kicked a goal, turned around, ran straight at me about 40 metres. That's your fault. Have more respect for me. Get here. And, mate, what have I done? Like, he's now kicked 2 in the space of 5 minutes, strutting around, massive dude, runs like a bloody racehorse, unbelievable skills. And I thought I was having a great day.
That's brilliant.
And I was just saying, the rest of my career, I just barely spoke to him. Yeah. Good or bad, if he's getting into me, he loved getting into me and my teammates. And I just tried my best not to get into it because I know, what can happen. And I tell my other key defenders now, like, boys, if he starts going at you, just shut your mouth, all right? Because let him have that because he only needs 2 minutes and all of a sudden you're going to be like,
very good. It's funny you say it because it has a bit more context now because, Maisie's played quite well on Buddy the last couple of years. And someone said one day, it might have been, I might name him actually, but they said, he's your bunny, you've got him. And Maisie looked at him dead in the eye and said, he's one of the best players of all time. He's 1 minute away from making us all look stupid. Like, don't ever say that again. Like, I'm not taking it. And I'm like, okay, this makes
more sense.
Yeah, it makes a lot more sense that it's a death stare. Like, no, don't you say he's my bunny because he could turn it on anyone.
Oh, that is so. I love the, hey, mate, do you want to be on TV?
Yeah,
get here.
Mate, he had all these one-liners. Mate, he had all these one-liners and I had nothing to say because he's just, he's the face of the comp.
Oh, he's
and he's saying, you don't get on TV much, because he's just kicked the goal. Come and stand here if you want to be on TV. And I'm just like, started walking away from him because he's
how good would that be to say that one? That'd be the dream. Instead of being a back pocket or a role player.
Make a big spoil and go, come here, man, or put you on TV or anything. Like, so he's the greatest showman for a reason.
He is.
He's very good at it.
Very lucky to have played against him and, you got to stand on him. It's a privilege, yes. Whether he's kicking goals on you. I think Griff Logue has the same privilege. You kick 5 or 6 on Griff. I don't think Paul Griff said anything as well. If he had said something, it would have been 10.
That's funny because Griff's got a mouth on him too, man.
Oh, yeah.
So that's interesting.
I don't think he said anything as well. So, very good. Well, there you go. That's our pilot halftime segment, our unforgettable flops. And huge shout out to Pilot for supporting the American Aces and our Only Sport podcast. If you need some help, you know where to go. Head to pilot.com.au. Play to the final whistle with our friends at Pilot. And they'll look after you, and obviously online, so you don't have to go to the doctors. It's all on your phone. Happy days. Righto, let's get off the field, have some fun to finish, bring it home strong. We're at the 400 here at Flemington. We're about to just unleash, but on sports, we all love sport, and that's how we all kind of meet, whether it's playing or involved in other things. But outside of AFL, what's the sport that you love the most? When you might have Sunday or doesn't matter what day off, you just want to sit back and be involved in that sport, whether it's playing or watching? What would it be for you, Hibbo? You start.
We obviously we're all in the American Aces together. I love the NFL. The best thing about Mondays is waking up and checking the scores and when Red Zone used to be a thing, and or going on KO or whatever it is, and just watching whatever games are there. And checking my fantasy, even though it can ruin my day pretty quickly on a Monday if it's not going well. But I love, Monday Arvos or Tuesday Arvos, whatever it is, and there's Monday night football on. I love sitting at home. My kids napping in that perfect window, 12 till 2, so I can watch those games. But I love everything about the NFL. I love how quick and how explosive and the even though you don't the front what are they called, the offensive tackles and the guards, and they're not big names, but they play such a big cog in making the team work. Obviously the quarterback gets most of the glory and cops it when they go no good, but it's a real big team effort, and I just love how athletic they all are. And I kind of wish it was a thing in Australia and Melbourne. I'd probably strap the boots on and do it.
Be a big left tackle, I reckon.
Yeah. Where would you play?
Maybe centre.
I reckon
Jason Kelsey
obviously I'd say a quarterback, but
no, have you seen him throw football?
I don't even know what arm I am. I throw with my left and bowl with my right.
I'm the same. I can't throw.
Throw with 2 hands.
Oh, wow.
Well, I'd probably be a safety, cornerback.
Depends if you had the preseason. You have to move a bit quick.
Nah, but
you're a good defender.
I love the NFL. I love everything about it. Got mates that love the NBA, and I respect that. But I think everything about the NFL I love. I could sit there and watch it for days. So
yeah, well said.
It's good. I'm a 49ers man. They're going all right. So
there you go.
Just from last year, you joined the Niners. I
love it.
Better than the Bears, mate. Although they're starting to build. I won't get you going on the Bears for a while.
There's no need for that.
What about you, Maisie? If there's one sport, is it the same? Is it NFL?
I think it is, but the only thing about the NFL that I don't like is there's only 20 odd weeks to watch it, so that hurts me. But I love my golf. I love, like you said, laying on the couch. I can watch heaps of golf, and you be on your phone for a bit, and you can do other things because it's not that fast paced.
Yeah,
but it's very therapeutic. I don't know. I find it so chill. And it's funny, my partner, she doesn't like any sport really, and hates when it's on TV, but she likes golf.
Oh, that's
because it's quiet, it's very chill. The commentator's voice is very calm, and she doesn't mind it. She's happy with that in the background. There's photos of nice, beautiful courses. So I've actually got, for some reason, I think I put the Texans game on the other day. She goes, "Oh, can you just put golf on?" And I was like, actually, funny, there is golf on. So I just put the Texans game on my phone. But the Heritage Classic was on. So I was like, wait, so I can watch golf. So, golf and NFL by a mile. Slightly different sports. I love the team aspect and the superstars and the storylines attached. And, I love Madden. I love playing Madden. I love doing franchise mode, rebuilding clubs. And, the Bears need to hire me, man. I'm telling you, I can turn them around.
Okay, this is great. So so you can turn them around. NFL lovers, we're just going to dive in here for a second, but you got a quarterback you've had for a few years now. Do you sign him, Justin Fields? Are you at the GM signing him, or are you trading him and picking a premium QB with pick 1?
So there's a few layers to that.
I just want to know the answer because we've got to move on.
I am a Fields man.
As the GM, what are you doing? You want to be the GM because they're going to make a decision soon, and we'll revisit this. Are you keeping or are you drafting?
I am keeping Fields on the basis that I'm trading the number 1 pick for a haul and fixing a lot of holes we have in our team.
Yep.
Taking Marvin Harrison with our first pick, probably 2 or 3 or whatever we get for it. And I don't want to have to put Williams through what Fields has gone through last year. 2 coordinators, 2 coaches, turnover of a list, just changing every year. Finally building something, got our defense sorted, got DJ Moore, got some good O-line players coming through. Mate, the number 1 pick is worth so much. We can fix so many holes. Yes, Williams is the man, and he's going to be great. He hasn't shown a lot this year that made me go, we need him. Fields has, and if you put anyone, you put Aaron Rodgers, you put Tom Brady behind what the situation Fields has been in, yes, they might have won a few more games, but they're not playing playoffs. I'm telling you, that's been a disaster, man. And you have DJ Moore, Marvin Harrison, and Fields now who has the respect and has a coach that he likes, has a team that he likes. It's very exciting. But that's me wanting to win now. The smart decision, probably take Williams and rebuild with rookie contract, so you can sign a lot of free agents. Either way, I'm going to be stoked, and we'll beat the Niners again next year. So funny how we, they're probably going to win the Super Bowl. I'm not going to lie, but we beat the Niners.
So hang on, as the GM, you're sitting on the fence.
Okay, so as a GM,
you have to
and I'm in their position right now.
Yeah, you just said draft.
I'm trading it.
Okay, you're trading it.
I'm just saying if they don't, I fully get it and I understand and I'm not going to be mad as a fan. If I'm the GM,
listen to this podcast.
We'll clip it up. We'll clip it up. Hopefully it makes sense with what he does. We'll go, mate, Maisie said the same thing.
We'll tag Ryan Poles.
The Bears are going well, but it was good to see Detroit as we record this podcast, but we won't talk about too many live events, but Detroit have gone through some tough years, so hopefully, the Bears can just get a quarterback that throws 4,000 yards and in just one season.
And can play defense.
Yeah. Let's fly. Most memorable moment watching sport. Was there one game where you remember as a kid or even now where you go, that moment was one of the coolest things you've seen? I'll start with you, Maisie.
Mate, I was mad Essendon fan.
Yeah.
And I was begging my mum to stay up or to keep watching the footy one night. It was West Coast v Essendon. And when Hurdy kicked the snap and hugged I just remember that moment, me and my mum. It was just awesome. I don't know why but that goal, the timing, the late night game, looking at the red time, the siren's going to go any second, and he's hugged the fan. Me and my mum talk about that still. And when I finally went to Essendon to as an AIS kid and got to meet some of the players. Hurdy, I was just looking at him like I still remember what he did that day. So, that'd easily be probably one of the best moments I watched because it was with my mum as well.
Yeah, special. No, it's unbelievable.
I'm trying to think of one, but one that probably sticks to mind, it was probably 10 years ago, and the Masters was on and Adam Scott was, right in it, and the Essendon Footy Club let us stop training. We were supposed to run out an hour earlier, and the whole footy club were all in the gym, packed around a TV when Adam Scott sunk that putt, and Gatorade was flying everywhere. Everyone was screaming. And one of the boys had it on his phone, video and watching the putt, and it's a sick video of us just all losing it in the gym. And I just remember, I've never been. I loved golf. Didn't watch a lot of it. Everyone watches the Masters, but it's being so invested in an Aussie to win. Because Greg Norman never got there, and having Adam Scott sink that putt in front of the whole footy club all packed together, because any sporting game you watch, it makes it more special when you're with your mates, let alone a whole footy club. So that one sticks in my mind. It was pretty cool, and to see Aussie do it was awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, flick that across. Brado will be able to put that in while you're talking. But yeah, looking forward to seeing all the boys go wild. Let's start. Who's the coolest athlete you've met? You would have travelled around the States, or you would have had maybe some athletes come into your footy clubs, or maybe you've just become mates with some Storm boys. But if there's just one athlete that you've met, who is the coolest that you've met?
Probably me, Minwoo Lee. He's just the swaggiest dude and does it his own way. He's very off-brand for golf. He does it his own way. He loves social media. He loves loves memes, and he just doesn't care. But the thing is, he goes out and dominates as well. So he just has that aura and flair about him, and he's such a laid-back, chilled-out bloke. He just loves sending memes on Instagram. That's what he does.
Nah, it's brilliant.
But then he's just one of the biggest up-and-coming golfers in the world. It's just, I just think he's so cool.
Very relatable.
Yeah.
I reckon he probably does represent what golf is now, Yeah. That's what we all want. Just a bit, it's not like the traditionalists, as they say.
I'm trying to think, but probably Derek Carr. I met him in San Fran. He was at a cafe and went up and said g'day. He was the nicest bloke ever. I'm a big fan of his, always have been. I guess to see him, I'm trying to think of one off the top of my head, but apart from Big Bruiser May here, it's going to be Cosy Pickett, and yourself, Tommy. Probably Derek.
Did you have a good chat to him?
The standard Nuffy chat. So, mate, big fan. I want to say, dropped that I played AFL footy. He couldn't have gave us stuff. Is that rugby?
Whatever, man.
That's probably.
You got a photo?
Nah, I didn't. I didn't want to nuff it up too bad.
Not too much.
Because I get all that all the time. I understand how awkward it can be for him. So
he knows what not to do. That's very good.
That's it.
Yeah, he had a good finish of the year, actually. That's awesome. Right, this is a cool one. If you could be any athlete or person in the world and you can only be them for a week. So you literally you just go into their body and you just get to be them for a week. I know I saw some big dogs. I can't remember, it was maybe a soccer player saying you just would love a week of being the opposite, being a no one and just being able to go down to a busy road and have dinner with his family. But let's do the reverse. Let's if you could be one person right now, who would you love to be for a week? Yeah.
Athlete? Yeah.
Well, it could be anyone. We'll keep it on sport though. Keep it
Yeah.
For me, and I'll get over it pretty quick, but LeBron James, just to live in his shoes for a week, like I think anyone in the world knows who he is. And just that would be pretty cool to feel how big he is and not be able to go anywhere. Probably go to some sick parties and get away with a bit. But I'm just like, to understand, like, I would say Jimmy Garoppolo or something like that. He's a good looking
Jimmy G.
Different sphere there, but LeBron, to understand, like, I don't think we have any concept of, like, he wouldn't be able to go anywhere, and if he did, it'd be mayhem. So, it's off the top. Tiger Woods in his prime would have been pretty good too, I reckon.
I was going to say Tiger, like for the Masters week, would just be, because I'd love to go to the Masters and go to the Masters as Tiger. Would probably be hard work. But one I'd just like maybe being like, maybe not Paddy Mahomes. It seems like he deals with a bit at home, but maybe someone like I don't know, like Brock Purdy, right? He's playing a team full of stars. He's Mr. Relevant in San Fran. Very rich football history. Just being a week preparing how he prepares for a game. He's not the most hyped up player, but like. He's got McCaffrey, he's got Trent Williams next to him, he's got Debo,
stars around.
Yeah, and just see how he would go through that and that sort of that week from preparing for the game, playing the game, and then hopefully going out that night if we only get a week. See how that would be. Even the walkout with Williams and Debo, how they come through. Like
it would
just be something like different perspective and
One of the other boys said that. I can't remember who it was, but they said Austin Reeves because he wouldn't get harassed, but he's next to the king and he's around AD and he's in LA and a bit like exactly what you said. You're around. You're not in the body of the king. You're next to the king and you get to hang out with him, but then you can pop out and it's good. It's a great question. We love asking it. Right, 4 to go here, but if you had a sporting trip around the world, what's the one on your bucket list, or what's the one that you'd love to do like right now?
I'd love to go to the Super Bowl. It's definitely on my bucket list. But the Waste Management Open in the golf,
they roll around the same time.
Yeah, so I think Jordan Lewis is a good close mate of mine. He went to the Waste Management, the Super Bowl, and he had tickets to LeBron's game the day after he shot the record. So if he didn't get it, he was guaranteed to be in LA for that game. Anyway, he shot 38, 40 points and got the record. But if he shot 30, he would have sat there and I'm like, that's a sick week, going to the Waste Management, the Super Bowl, and probably go see some NBA as well. But the 16th hole, the par 3 at the Waste Management, where it's just a party hole.
Yeah.
Everyone's throwing cans and having a good time. And I love my golf. That would be one. But I've always wanted to go to the Super Bowl. At some point, I will. Hopefully, we can get away in the next couple of years and go see it. You're going this year, aren't you?
Yeah, very lucky. Yeah, that's my bucket list. Yeah, Vegas with a few boys, Callett and Botsy and a few others. And I can't wait. I'm a Ravens man as well. It's kind of all falling together. I don't.
It might work.
Yeah, it might work perfectly. Your first one. It could be heartbreaking. Your San Fran could break our heart if they're. As we record this, I predict that they'll be around there. But mate, it's just I don't really care who will be there. It's always 2 grouse teams and. In Vegas, it's not. That's like reminding people, it's not warm. It's actually pretty cold this time of year. People forget it's it's middle of winter, but there'll be. I'd imagine when I come back, when you're doing podcasts, I'd imagine I got a lot of stories. We can't tell.
If you want more stories, take Pig.
Well, the opportunist, no doubt. I'll be able to find him. But I think we'll have some good stories. I know that what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, but there should be some cool people I'll be able to meet. Being a bit of a NFL nuffy myself, I'm pushing hard. If anyone's out there that can get me a media pass, I'd love to just be able to go in there and just do some interviews or whatnot with especially the wide receivers. I just find all them the coolest guys. But Vegas is I relate to that. The Super Bowl, the thing is, right, the Super Bowl people don't realise sometimes it's in different places. So to marry it up with Vegas is a dream come true for me. So hopefully, hopefully it's a cracking game. What about you, Maisie?
Oh, mate, it's pretty much. I want to do the Masters and I want to do Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But yeah, that trip, how they did Arizona Waste Management in Phoenix into that, like that would just be heaven. But
I was there a week before and I come home. I got asked to armchair experts to replace the great BG, Benny Graham, and he was obviously going, and the experience in the NFL, and I was American. I was never knocking that back, but actually flying out of LA, knowing that like 4 days time that there's the waste management and Arizona is only around the corner. Like could have went there and not gone to got a ticket. You could have been involved in just the community. Oh, that hurt. So hopefully I'll go twice as hard. But everyone that went, they reckon it was the best week of their life. So yeah, that'd be pretty cool. But Masters would be an experience. Righto. In your eyes, who is the GOAT? Get one. Hibbo. Don't sit on the fence. Just who is the GOAT?
Tom Brady.
Tom Brady.
Yeah. I think just over how long he did it for, and I think and it's hard to win championships in the NFL. I think watching it more now, realizing how hard it is, and I want to sit on the fence because I've got a few more names. I will say I've got Jordan over LeBron, which is can be.
But it wasn't the question.
Well, I just want to put that out there because I'm sick of all these young blokes saying.
I'm sure MJ's very stoked about that. Pete, thanks for mentioning it on the Only Sport.
You got the young guys at the footy club now who've only watched LeBron, and not that I watched a lot when I was growing up with Jordan, but I remember how big he was, and and what he did for basketball. So I've got him, but Tom Brady for me, I love him. I think what he was able to do, and then the comebacks he did, and that Super Bowl at Atlanta is just, it sends chills down your spine. And yeah, he was an unbelievable player. Wasn't the most athletic, and he did so much with what he had, but he was able to bring a team together. Like, that was the best thing. That was his biggest skill, was being able to make players play better around him. And I think that's probably what greatness is. So for me, Tom Brady.
Well said. I think Amendola comes out in that documentary that's going to come out soon. He's like, we played for Tom and we worked for Bill, which is pretty strong, a pretty strong statement. But yeah, to have a player say that about Tom Brady, as you said, he did bring a lot of players together. And yeah, mate, I tend to agree. What about you, Maisie?
Oh, Tiger Woods, mate. You think what Brady did was impressive. Tiger did it in a harder sport for a longer time. Just amazing. Like, a lot of people who don't play golf wouldn't understand it. And you read stats about how long he was number one, there was a high percentage of him winning the match, winning the tournament, than him coming out of the top 10. He was more chance of winning it than not, which is, in golf terms, it's just insane. And comebacks from several off-field incidents, injuries, and come back and win still. And he's still competing now. And what he's done, with Nike, they just split. But that commercial, when he's at the ball on the edge, like one of probably the most watched football or sporting commercial ever. And I'm going to say LeBron's the GOAT over Jordan, though, just while we're on that topic.
Yeah, I was wondering why. I can see you got that little look in his eye. I'm just saying, his eyebrows went down a bit. You got the lines in the middle of his head. His head went a bit red.
Is that what he gets in the huddle when they kick the couple on the trot?
Everyone sees the
Pig gets it. Pig gets it. I'm a LeBron man, so I don't know. It wasn't part of your question.
No, go with it because I want to get the rebuttal.
That's not what he asked, mate.
So LeBron's better than MJ?
Just, yeah. Yep.
Love it. We all get an opinion. We all get.
Just on Tiger.
I can feel you.
If you think about
getting
now,
tense over there, big fella.
the number one player in the world in golf, like, how often they're consistent in their top tens and all that, but Tiger would win all the time.
Mate.
Like,
yes.
And you see the top, the number one player in the world now, they're not even tipped to win most of the comps that they play in, but Tiger was tipped to win every time for like 20 years. Like, it's just stupid.
Yeah.
So I do agree with that.
I've seen you out in the links too, Tommy. I know it's hard, isn't it, hitting that ball?
Yeah, it is hard. I played the other day, actually, not there, but at another course, and mate, it was probably Canberra, mate, and I won't be repeating what I hit. Yeah, we played for dinner as well, and I'd lost 5 balls.
Was that Toddy's too, wasn't it?
That was at the last one in Anglesey. Josh Morris, big shout out. But it's a great feed, the last one in. So we actually played at Anglesey, just come back down and yeah, great menu. And yeah, it was pretty disappointing that I had to pay for it. We had dinner on the line. I reckon dinner was sorted by a whole 5. Anyway, we won't talk about me because we're here with you guys. The big dogs are in the room. 2 to go here. We've got dinner for 3. We normally have 3, the aces that are listening. You understand that it's normally David Beckham, Michael Jordan, and Tom Brady. We've cut them, and we're going to go with the Australian Open theme, considering that this is when it's going to be out. Boys, if you could go to dinner with Rafael Nadal, Roger Federer, or Novak Djokovic, you can only have dinner with 2. Who's the one bloke that you don't want at the table? You can only take 2. I know it's a tough question, but tell me who's getting cut and why. Hibbo.
I'll say Djokovic because my in-laws and my wife would kill me. They love the tennis. They love Nadal and they love Federer. And I don't know, something about Djokovic just rubs me up the wrong way. I think it'd be hard to say he's not the greatest tennis player of all time, but I just feel like I'd much rather sitting around having a meal with those other boys than, I don't know. It's just, Djokovic. I'll get rid of him.
This is a hard one because I love Nadal out of the 3, but I would actually snip him for the sake of the dinner. Federer and Djokovic. Federer is just such a well-spoken, I just think he'd have hundreds of stories. And I loved watching him for a long time. I think Nadal is a bit serious, very likes things a certain way. I don't know how dinner would go. And Djokovic does his own thing. I would have to wear a mask, wouldn't I? Because he's not. But all the stuff he's been through, loves his opinion, sticks by.
It would he'd add more value to the table.
That's what I'm saying. Just at dinner, I think Nadal would eat and probably go.
I thought when Nadal goes,
Federer and Djokovic, we could have a bit going on.
Federer's retired now. He'd be able to indulge.
If Nadal there though, he'd go to the toilet and I'd start roughing up his forks and knives and that. Just throw a pea in his water and just see how he reacts.
He's nasty in this bloke, I'm telling you.
Oh, that's very good. He's a perfectionist, is what. If you don't know the great man and how he acts, that'd be very funny if you threw a pea or something in his glass of water just to see how he reacted. Can you imagine you get the chance to sit down with these weapons and you're throwing peas in their water?
Not joking. He would do something like that. That's the thing. That's why he's called the pig.
The pig. Oh, boys. Well, you don't come here and go home empty-handed. We know that, a big shout-out to RIXX Eyewear. I've got some good news with RIXX as well. We've just had we've just restocked. So we've been out of stock for 2 months. So we've just restocked. So everyone out there's been messaging. Head online to rixxeyewear.com and all our sunnies have been restocked. There's 20 pairs, so 20 styles. They've been sold out, but they're all back right now. And we've got our special discount code ACES, just ACES actually, and you get 20% off and free express shipping. I've got you boys a pair of sunnies and a hat each. So, fight over the hat, what colour you want, boys.
You like that one there?
That's a summer special. Now, with the sunnies, there's been a bit of banter around the size. Maybe leave the hats off for now because I want you to put the sunnies on. I've heard that doesn't fit the head. Well, that links into this. Apparently, Hibbo's got a monster head. Well, you were telling a story earlier. So, RIXX has just launched the Melrose in large. So, they come in the 52, 23, 145, extra large. Perfect for the blokes with the big head. But what's the story when Hibbo was a kid? What were you saying off ahead?
This isn't. I'm not just saying this for a joke. So when they were growing up, this is a story from his brother Mark. They'd get shirts for Christmas off their grandma, and like Mark and Jeff would get the T-shirt, and she'd buy Michael a button-up so he could get his head through this little circle. Because it was the funniest thing I heard, and he said, "No, I'm fair income. That's what used to happen." So. Everyone knows he's got a big melon.
Is that true, Hibbo?
Can you just put that on?
I'm told. I think I was. Yeah. I see. I don't want to put that.
No, leave it. We'll get the sunny.
Okay.
Well, then try these on. So I want to make sure this is a test for RIXX. I'm a bit nervous because they're for the big man. So they're the RIXX Melrose Champagne.
It is. I do struggle to find hats that fit my head, and sunnies as
So
well.
these
To be
are
honest,
one of our most popular
and I'm wrapped
styles.
with these, to be honest, because oh my God, they
Oh,
fit
wow.
good, Tommy. They fit
Wow,
perfect.
they look good.
They fit
They look
perfect. to last.
great.
That makes me so happy.
Mate, it makes me happy. You should see the things I've been running at the moment. It's putrid. So when I came in here,
they're
it was
crooked.
grid.
That is that makes me so happy
Thank
that they
you, mate.
fit.
These
No,
are awesome.
that's perfect. Anyone else out with a big head? Melrose Champagne. Maisie, you got the Soho cherries. These are a bit of a commodity. We've been
Wow.
sold out as well, but they're back in stock.
Maybe actually a bit small.
They fit perfectly, or you need a
good.
large as well? No, they fit.
Nah, they fit good.
There you go. Well, I'm pretty happy. I must say, I'm very happy looking
Wrapped.
at Hibbo, knowing that
It
they
is
fit.
hard to find sunnies for this head. So these fit well, mate. And I think they look good. I can't see.
They look elite, if I don't say so myself. Righto, RIXX on tour. Pick one location in the world where you'd love to go for a week. Take your RIXX with you, and two blokes are going with.
Ibiza or Ibiza. Because it's just a lovely place. And I'll have to say, big bruiser. And, I haven't been on a holiday with you, Tommy. I'd like to take you and to show you the ropes down there. I've been a couple of times and I'm yet to have a bad time there. So, there, I love Barcelona as well, which is, same country, Spain. The weather's always good. Take my RIXXies there in the sun and lap it
Shirt
up on
off.
the beach. Shirt on right now. I'd have to put a bit of a pre-season in before I go there, which I've got. I've got till July, so
You've got a bit of time.
yeah, I got a bit of time. So it'd be the rashy on until then. But I love it. It's good over there.
That's very good. One thing you're doing in Ibiza or Barcelona, like if you get there, what's the one thing that you're organising for us too?
I organise
Brunch in the park.
I organise the Airbnbs. I booked the flights the last time we all went. So I'm the organiser, and they didn't have to make a decision. These boys went to the brunch in the park. We were in Barca because you don't want to use your maps and your roaming and stuff in there. I'll be like, we've got this freak talent of just looking at a map on my phone. It could be the other side of the city, and I can just walk us there. So
It's crazy.
it's
honestly.
You need the navigator.
Yeah, I won't have my Wi-Fi on. I'll just look at it before I leave, put the phone in my pocket, and the boys were like, no, we're in the wrong direction. I said, I'm telling you, it's like 3 turns away, and I don't know why. I'm just good at it doing
That's
that.
great.
So,
You think Maisie would be the one doing that with the the pilot
navigating.
license, the
Yeah, yeah.
navigation?
It's honestly incredible. He's like, I'm getting my phone. I'm going to turn my roaming back on, mate. We need to find out how we get home. And he goes, I've got it. Don't worry. Follow me. And he's just marching along, and we get there. Like,
There's always a leader when you travel. There's always one like, come on, let's go. No, well said. So Barcelona and Ibiza, however you want to say it. What about you, Maisie?
Probably I'll have to take Pig. Yeah, he's great to travel with.
Take me out of it. I want to hear the third.
Okay, all right. Let me pick a good third.
I'm really
There's
interested because it's a better dynamic.
Probably Big Alex Brown. I don't know if you remember him. He played for Essendon. Great,
Yeah, I do.
great
know,
bloke. Great on trips. Loves to chat around a beer. Like
Funny man,
Tells
Brown.
great
He is
stories.
funny, yes.
But probably take us three to Thailand. Bit of a golf trip. Yeah, to get ready for our golf coming up. I love Thailand. Great golf. Outstanding golf.
Isn't it funny?
Very hot, and you need your RIXX. So,
You do?
and I love,
I've heard there's some really cheap luxury golf tours in Thailand.
Just ask my old man. He goes every year. It's amazing going on a trip. My old man goes on a
I
golf
would
trip.
like to bring his old man, but that dynamic with those two just would fizzle out pretty quick.
Fizzle out quick.
No, well, I'll put you in. If I'm putting anyone else in mine as well, just to put it out there. Jake Malcolm was always a great teammate to travel with. Like, adds energy. He's always a ball of energy. He's always making someone laugh. He was good to travel with, especially in those hotter climates where you can go to the beach parties. And
he's got the rig as well. He wouldn't mind getting that out. You wouldn't want to be getting a photo with the rigs out standing next to Melky because he's cut.
We were in Bali in November. James Harms's Bucks, and it was me, Maisie, and our other mate McGill, and he's shredded, tanned, and we made a rule that he's not allowed. If we're in the house, he has to have his shirt on. So
In our villa.
and
He's not. If he wants to swim, he has to wear a rash.
so it didn't matter.
Just so it didn't make
and
everyone
even
else feel bad.
We
He's
go
like-
to Fins or whatever. It was like, we'd have our shirts off. He'd had to have his on.
That's a great rule.
was a
mate.
cracker.
It's so funny. When you had a
So
show.
it'd be a bit like that with Melky, but it'd be good to throw the RIXXies on, get
That's
overseas
great.
in the sun with those boys. It'd be good fun.
Oh, very good, boys. It's getting me a little bit toey thinking about these trips. Yeah, I've done enough of them, though. I'm ready to, after Vegas, I reckon my liver might need a spell for about 12 months. But, very good. Well, if you want to look like the boys, we've got the Champagne Melrose, we've got the Cherry Soho, RIXXeyewear.com.au. Head there. Use our special discount code ACES for 20% off and free express shipping. And all the sunnies have just been restocked, so get in quick because it's been a while. I'm very happy about that as well. Chinese New Year around the corner. You want to get them in, otherwise you're gone. Well, that's all I got for you, boys. I got one other note here. I just thought I'd bring this up because if you're silly not to, and I think we'd be able to have a laugh before we finish, but I just wrote, B&F night. How many beers did you have, Maisie? And do you smash the pies next season?
I had a fair few reds. I think you can see in the video I got red lips. But it's me. One of my best mates is retiring. I was pretty sad and I said a few things. Probably shouldn't have said that if I knew it was going to be filmed and posted everywhere. Probably wouldn't have said those words. Don't know, Tommy. It's pre-season, new year. They're a very good side. I think we're a very good side. Hopefully we meet them and see what happens. But unfortunately, it doesn't really matter till you get to the finals. That's when you can really get the bragging rights, as I've found out. Thank you to all those who've sent me lots of nice, friendly messages reminding me who won the flag. Yes, Collingwood won. Yes, they deserved it. But, yeah, might add a couple.
And didn't realise that Best and Fairest night was going to get filmed. It does every
first
other
time
year.
Every other year, and he's up the front saying God knows what. That doesn't get posted anywhere, but we might have a little mole on the inside at the D's, I think. Just
a little mole,
just out to get me. Anything I do, they just
clipping it up. Might have been Braden. He's a Collingwood supporter. He might have been working freelance and just cutting up these little social clips and just letting them rip. Would not surprise me, eh? Very good. It's another example of media just getting a little clip and letting it fly around the world. Well, you've won a flag, so at least you can hang your hat on that. They've both got one now. But no, I'd have to ask you that for a little bit of a laugh. Boys, thanks so much for coming on. Only Sport. It's great to see you both. Always a pleasure. Thanks for sharing some epic stories and memories. No doubt, as you said, brings the chills back thinking about all the successful stuff you boys have done. And you have to find a new. Who's the new best mate down there? You can't replace, but you can who's someone that you're becoming very closer. Becoming very closer with down there. Is Jakey Lever get more love, or is there a new bloke on the block?
Lever always had, us three hang out a lot. It's as you remember, Tommy, you hang out in lines because you have education and your gym is all done in backlines, forward line, midfield. Our backline's very young. So I've been hanging out a bit with Lever as I normally do, but he's Gorney's right hand man. So as soon as we're out of our rotations, he's back with Gorney. So mate, it's hard to replace him. So I don't think I'll try to, and I'll just have a bit of Steve time at the club.
Yep.
Maybe I'm actually hang out with the physio and the other coach. That's when you know you get no. I'm sitting upstairs with the coaches, having a coffee with the coaches. I'm like, what am I doing up here? I need to get out of here.
That's great.
We'll see.
Oh, very good. All the best for the season. No doubt I'll see a bit of you. And Hibbo, whatever you're doing, no doubt you'll be doing amazing things, but enjoy family time and the break. And in summer with the sunnies on, boys, the hats, hopefully they fit on the scone. And thank you to everyone that tunes in to Only Sport. We hope you're really enjoying this. This one's probably a little bit longer. We've got the boys together and got to soak it up. So thank you. Hit subscribe if you haven't already. Tell your mates about this one if you really enjoyed it. And we'll see you on the next episode of Only Sport right here on American Aces. Cheers. One more time because I really mean it. I just want to say a massive thank you for all the support you continue to give us at the American Aces. If you want to further support us, make sure you like and subscribe, hit the follow button so you can keep up to date with all our exciting shows and announcements. Righto, now it's time to give our sponsors a massive plug. Struggling to make it to third base before striking out? Wood not driving like it used to? Let me guess, tackle's gone a little bit soft? No stress. If you're having issues in the bedroom, like erectile dysfunction or premature ejaculation, Australia's favourite men's healthcare provider, Pilot, has all the clinical tools you need to get your game back on track. Thousands of Aussie men come to Pilot to get simple, discreet and clinical treatments online. Pilot has free shipping, auto refills and free follow-ups over text with practitioners. Get started today at pilot.com.au and remember, play hard until the final whistle with Pilot. Aces, I know I always talk about the RIXXs, but I got to offer you the discount again. In case you've forgotten or in case you're sleeping under a rock, we have a special discount code for everyone that listens to this podcast or watch the podcast. It's ACES. Head online to RIXXeyewear.com.au and use the discount code ACES and you'll get 20% off. That's right, 20% off, 1/5 at checkout and free express shipping. So head online, rixxeyewear.com.au and check it out.